Hello and welcome to another short drawing lesson. This week we're going to draw the Ferrari F80, the hypercar. So the first thing we'll do is the front wheel over here. And next we'll use this as our unit of measurement. So however big this wheel is across, measure the same distance again and again. And maybe 2/3 of a wheel further, so 2 2/3 is the wheelbase. Then draw another wheel which is slightly bigger, that just touches that. All the same size, doesn't matter. Next we'll do the bottom of the car, a nice straight line that maybe is a tiny bit higher at the back than the front, if you can manage it. Very close to the ground. For the nose of the car, you come to the centre of your front wheel, up a tiny bit, and then measure another wheel out in front. That's about where the tip of your nose is going to be. For the back, we're going to split this up into a couple of chunks. So the first thing we need is a sort of almost vertical section just behind the wheel there. And we'll do this long, there's a sort of feature line running right through the car that makes it a sort of wedge shape. So it starts at the nose, cuts through the top of your front wheel, and skims across the top of your back wheel. So see if you can do that with the sweep of your arm, front to back. Nice straight line, well, slightly curving, swoopy line. Now we've got this interesting sort of surround on the front wheel. So we've got an almost vertical line. It's got a slight curve just behind the front wheel there. And another one in front, about halfway between the nose and the front wheel. And then just above the front wheel, it curves over, makes a nice kind of arching shape. And we'll do the nose while we're down there as well. We've got a nice sort of shark-like pointy nose to put in with a big spoiler underneath. A slight bulge where the headlights are. We've got an interesting sort of wedge shape to put in under here as well. So the high point of it is about as high as the centre of our wheels. And you want to measure about one wheel in front, or maybe to where that second wheel mark was. So 2/3 of a wheel in front. So that's the high point of our wedge shape, which starts just up this vertical section. Comes up there, drops down a little bit steeper, and then follows the bottom of your car upwards slightly, comes out the other side, curves around, meets that line. Next we'll have a think about, we'll put the arch in over the back wheel. That's got quite a bulge over the back wheel there. And now we can think about this roof section. So it starts just a bit behind the centre of your front wheel. If you come back from there, come up to reach the top surface, that's where it will start. And it'll come up, make a high point about one wheel in, so where this one wheel mark is, be about a high point, and then it'll drop down to meet this arch about level with the centre of your rear wheel. So it's going to start there, end there, be a high point here. So let's have a look. There's the windscreen, curves around and drops down. And that can sort of feed into the tail as well. The A-pillar starts pretty much on this corner. So there's our windscreen and the upper side of our side window. And we'll put in just the bottom edge of our side window as well. It's all a little bit complicated around here. Just follow this swoopy line we put in at the beginning, just to put in an indication of our side window. As for the pillar, the B pillar, if we start with our door shut line, it starts at the point of this wedge shape. At that point it's got a bit of a slopey curve, and it gets a bit steeper when you get to this section there, and it also goes a bit steeper down here. There's another line next to it which has more of a curve, kind of curves as if it's going to meet the front wheel over here somewhere. And now if we go back to our bottom edge of the side window, it comes along, goes up there for a bit, and then there's a cut out section. And behind there is a weird sort of hexagon or something. Must be an air intake. And what else do we need? We've got the important stuff in. We've got a big wing on the back there which can extend. Oh yeah, we'll finish off the back of the car here as well, so it can extend the back out. We've got a curving section, that's where the lights are. A little step. And then a big diffuser that comes out further. And curves under the car to come to meet the ground level, or our floor level rather. So there's our basic outline. So now we can start to make it look pretty and add the details. So here we've got a fairly large sort of squarish wing mirror. Got a windscreen wiper. In front of the front wheel, we've got a rectangular air intake, or an outlet, some sort of air scoop thingy. There's a bit of a sill on the bottom, which again has some interesting little sections cut out of it, some little wedges. The door handle's right down here. And we can have the Ferrari badge on there as well. And I think that's the important stuff. So now we'll put the ground in. And we'll show the wheels on the far side because that's going to help make it feel more three-dimensional. So now this is the point where you can press a bit harder on anything that's like an underside, anything that's going to be in shadow, with shadow on the floor. And all of these parts which are black carbon fibre, those are all going to be shaded in. And I'm going to shade them with some nice neat vertical hatching. It doesn't have to be vertical, but if you can keep it tidy, it'll feel more man-made, mechanical, than if you do it, if your shading is in every random direction, it'll feel a bit more organic, which isn't ideal for a vehicle. So again, we've got this whole section at the back here, which needs to be shaded in. And we've got this big scoopy thing on the front. Again, it's all black, so that can all be shaded. Definitely in this vent, that's going to be dark. And actually the roof all seems to be carbon fibre, as do the mirrors. Sometimes these kind of contrasting sections are called graphics, because they're a key part of the design. There's all graphic shapes that make the thing interesting to look at. And they break it up into little chunks. You can have a lot of fun designing, if you're designing a car, just playing around with these contrasting shapes just to see what's an interesting way to break up your design. So I think we've got the important stuff shaded in. We could just add a bit of detail to the wheels. It's got 5 spokes. I'm not going to go into full detail because that would be just too much for the amount of detail that's in the drawing. But I will just show that there's a bit of a dish on the rim. And that's pretty much it, I reckon. Let me know in the comments how you got on with yours. It's not the easiest thing to do, these hypercars that are covered in wings and things. But if you break it down into little simpler chunks and get the basic proportions down, it should come out all right. Hope you enjoyed that. Do like and subscribe, and I'll try and carry on doing more of these. Otherwise, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you for another one soon.